My Life and Work is a book written by Henry Ford, an important American businessman. In this interesting book, Ford talks about his life, his philosophy, and the ideas that helped him become the father of the Ford Motor Company, a pioneer of the assembly line, and the man behind the Model T car. At the heart of this book is Ford himself, a man who came from nothing but used his revolutionary ideas to build a kingdom. His life is the perfect example of the American dream, and his work changed the direction of the car industry and, in many ways, the direction of modern industry as a whole. Efficiency is one of the most important ideas that Ford brought to the world. Ford thought that economy wasn't just about making things go faster or saving money. It was about making a system that worked well as a whole, where there was no waste, employees were treated fairly, and goods were sold at prices that made them affordable for most people. This was the idea behind his revolutionary assembly line way of making things. This process not only changed the way things were made by cutting down the time and cost of making things, but it also made it possible for the average person to buy a car. The book goes into depth about how Ford came up with and used these ideas. Among other things, he talks about how the Model T, the first mass-produced car, was made. This car was cheap, reliable, and flexible, which were all things that Ford wanted his goods to be like. But Ford's ideas were not just about how to run his plants. Because he cared about the well-being of his workers, he came up with the $5 workday, which nearly doubled the pay at the time. This made a big difference. It boosted morale, cut down on employee turnover, and showed that a business could be both successful and kind. Throughout the story, Ford stresses how important it is to keep learning and coming up with new ideas. He shows this with stories from his own life, like how he used to play around with engines when he was young and how he worked all the time to improve the Model T and other Ford cars. For him, loss was just a chance to learn and grow, a step on the way to success. Another theme that keeps coming up is how important it is to believe in yourself and keep going. Ford's trip was full of problems and doubters, but he kept going because he was sure of what he wanted to do. All through the book, this strong message of sticking with something encourages readers to stay true to their own dreams and goals. Even though Ford had a lot of success, he was not without problems, and the book doesn't try to hide that. He was known for a run of articles he wrote for the Dearborn Independent in which he said hurtful things about Jews. Even though the book doesn't go into detail about Ford's views, readers should be aware of this part of his past. My Life and Work is a fascinating look into the mind and work of one of the most important businessmen in the United States. It shows how powerful vision, efficiency, new ideas, and drive can be. Even though it was written almost 100 years ago, its lessons are still useful today. Anyone interested in business, management, or the history of the industry should read it. In a summary of My Life and Work, it's important to say that, even though Ford's new ideas changed the car business and ushered in a new age of manufacturing, his legacy is complicated. His life story shows that great achievements, visionary leadership, and deeply flawed personal views can all go together. The lessons you can learn from the book, on the other hand, can't be denied. They teach you about efficiency, the value of workers, and the power of constant creativity. In short, My Life and Work is about more than just Henry Ford's life. It goes into detail about the ideas that drove the Industrial Revolution and made the world different. Even though it's old, it's still a good book for businesses, managers, and anyone else who wants to learn about the man behind the Model T.